High cholesterol is one of those things that's kind of like a silent saboteur. It sneaks up on millions of people because, let's face it, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't make you feel sick day to day, but all the while, it's quietly working in the background, setting the stage for some really serious health problems. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the subtle and sometimes surprising clues your body might be sending you.
And that quote really hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? That's the whole problem. It's not like a broken arm or a nasty flu that just screams for your attention. So many of us are walking around totally unaware that our cholesterol levels are creeping up into the danger zone. And that lack of obvious signs is exactly why we need to become detectives and learn to spot the clues of the damage it might be causing.
That's a pretty direct question, I know, but it's one we should all ask ourselves. Because while the high cholesterol itself is silent, the consequences, well, they are anything but. The great news, though, is that your body sometimes does try to warn you. Recognizing those little signals is the absolute first step to taking back control.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by really digging into why it's called a silent danger. Then we'll get into the 4 major clues you might actually see or feel. We're talking fatty deposits, a weird ring in your eye, some specific leg pain, and then the big one, chest pain. And don't worry, we'll wrap it all up with what you can actually do about it.
Okay, so here's the most important thing to get your head around. You don't feel your cholesterol number. It's not a headache or a stomach ache. There are no direct symptoms. So all these signs we're about to talk about, they aren't symptoms of the cholesterol itself, but of the damage that years of high cholesterol can do to your body, especially to your blood vessels.
And this is why we're talking about it. This is why it matters so much. We're not discussing some minor inconvenience here. Unchecked high cholesterol is one of the main culprits behind the hardening and narrowing of your arteries, and that leads directly to heart attacks and strokes. The stakes are, quite literally, life and death.
All right, let's dive into our very first clue, and this is one you can actually see, although a lot of people just brush it off as some random skin thing.
The official medical term is Xanthelasma. It's a mouthful, I know. But basically, these are just little piles of cholesterol that have built up right under your skin. Now, the patches themselves don't hurt at all, but you should see them as a big, flashing neon sign that your body is struggling to deal with all the fats or lipids in your blood. It's like an overflow valve has been triggered.
And hey, these little warning bumps aren't just for your eyes. You can get similar ones, called xanthemas, on your tendons, elbows, even your knees. So if you ever spot any unusual, soft, yellowish lumps on your body, that's a crystal clear signal to go get your cholesterol checked out.
Okay, on to our second clue. We're sticking with the eyes for this one, but it shows up in a totally different and very specific way.
This one's called Arcus Senilis. What you're looking for is a faint, pale ring that forms around the colored part of your eye. That ring is actually made of lipid deposits that are inside the cornea. But here's the really fascinating part. What this ring means depends almost entirely on your age.
And this is the point you really need to hear. If you're over, say, 40 or 50 years old and you see this ring, it's pretty common and usually nothing to worry about. But if this ring shows up in someone who is under the age of 40, that is a massive red flag. It's a very strong sign of extremely high cholesterol.
To be specific, when a younger person has this ring, it often points to a serious genetic condition that causes dangerously high cholesterol right from birth. So if you or maybe a younger person in your family notices this, it is absolutely not something you ignore. That requires a trip to the doctor pronto.
Okay, for our third clue, we're moving away from the things you can see to something you can actually feel. This sign is all about how high cholesterol messes with blood flow to the rest of your body.
The specific term for this is claudication. And listen, this isn't just some random leg cramp you get in the middle of the night. This is a very predictable pain. It shows up when you're active, like walking up a hill, and then, like clockwork, it goes away when you stop and rest. The reason it follows that pattern is the key.
That pain is a classic symptom of something called peripheral artery disease, or PAD. Basically, cholesterol plaque has built up in the arteries of your legs, narrowing the pipeline for your blood. So when you walk, your leg muscles are screaming for more oxygen, but the narrowed arteries just can't deliver enough. That's what causes the pain. Ignoring this is a bad idea, as it can lead to some really serious issues down the line.
And that brings us to our final and without a doubt most critical clue. This is the one sign that tells you the damage from high cholesterol has reached a very dangerous point.
There's no way to sugarcoat this. While all the other signs are important warnings, this one is a 5-alarm fire.
It means the blood supply to your heart muscle itself is in jeopardy.
This kind of chest pain is called angina, and it's caused by the exact same problem as the leg pain, plaque buildup. But this time, the plaque is in your coronary arteries, the critical pipelines that feed your heart. When your heart can't get the oxygen it desperately needs, it sends out a pain signal.
Now, it's really important to know that angina doesn't always feel like the sharp, stabbing pain you see in movies. It can feel like pressure, like an elephant is sitting on your chest. It could be a squeezing feeling or just a dull ache. And crucially, that pain can travel. It might show up in your arms, your neck, your jaw, or even your back. Let me be absolutely crystal clear on this. Experiencing these symptoms is an emergency. It is your heart's final warning that it is under extreme stress and a heart attack could be right around the corner. You do not wait, you do not hope it goes away, you get medical help immediately.
Okay, I know hearing about all those signs, especially the last one, can be really worrying. But this next part is the most important message of all. You are not powerless here. You can absolutely take control of this.
And this is the message of hope, right here. For the overwhelming majority of people, high cholesterol is not some unavoidable fate. It was something that can be actively managed, controlled, and in many cases, prevented, stopping those severe outcomes before they ever happen.
So what does taking control look like? Well, first things first, get checked. A simple blood test is the only way to know your numbers for sure. After that, it really comes down to the fundamentals we all know: eating a heart-healthy diet, getting regular exercise, and, if your doctor says it's necessary, taking medication. These steps are your absolute best defense.
Ultimately, that's what this all comes down to. These signs aren't the disease itself, they're messages. They are your body's way of trying to tell you that there's a serious problem brewing that needs your attention. The only question left is, are you listening?